Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. For a little while now, my wife's been hinting at me to make a slim space-saving console table for the kitchen. Instead of buying one, I challenged myself to building it from only staircase parts from a big box store. I'll be using thick oak stair treads for the tabletop and pine balusters and 2x4s for the legs and frame. It's all super budget friendly and surprisingly good material. Let's turn these stairs into furniture. First up, turning these balusters into legs. I left a portion of the solid flat section at the top so they'll be easy to attach to the frame later. You can cut them to whatever height works for your space. I went for 72.5 cm. Coincidentally, that's exactly what my wife asked for. Next, I built a simple 2x4 pine frame to connect the legs. It's good to keep in mind that the frame will be carrying the weight of the table when you mount it to the wall, so I made mine pretty solid. My wife wanted it nice and narrow, so that's what I went with. Here's a little tip. Cut the frame a bit smaller than your tabletop, so the top overhangs by 2 to 4 centimeters all around. It'll look like someone actually thought about the design and conveniently hides the pine. Time for some precise layout. I'm marking a 1 centimeter reveal where the frame meets the legs, and where the sides of the frame join with the back. That little shadow line makes any frame look way more professional instead of blocky. Using the reveal as a guide, I marked the domino positions around the frame and legs. No domino joiner? No problem. Pocket holes or dowels work great too. I'm just using mine because it's fast and I enjoy playing with my tools. Always better to be on the safe side before applying wood glue. Here I'm just checking to see if my dominoes line up and I didn't do anything, well, typically me. And just like that, the frame is all glued up and ready. Time for a quick coat of paint. Colour was obviously picked by the real designer in the house. I don't know the exact name. Something like Calming Sage or Saturday Morning Compromise. But it looks great, hides the pine, and keeps everyone happy. Moving on to the oak tabletop. First I ripped the rounded factory edges off the stair treads on the table saw, so I had clean square edges to glue together. I spent a bit of time matching the grain so it looks like one solid piece. These stair treads are only 1 meter long, so I'll need to add a small extension piece later once this dries. Here I'm marking out the domino positions and the top and bottom orientation of the tabletop. It's surprisingly easy to lose track, so I recommend labeling each mortise as you go. Saves a lot of confusion later. I spent all my funds on that domino joiner, so this is what passes for bar clamps. Once the clamps came off, I had a pretty noticeable gap where the extension met the tabletop. Classic woodworking moment. I clamped the pieces tight here and ran the circular saw down the middle to create matching edges. It did help, however, we're still going to need to hide this later with some strategically placed inlays. More creative clamping coming up. Prepare yourself now. I left the tabletop a bit long on purpose for some wiggle room. Now I'm trimming it to final size using a circular saw with a straight edge and a table saw. Now for the detail that might make my wife think I'm smarter than I actually am. I got these African Padauk strips online, good old Temu. Cheap, exactly 10mm wide, and they give a beautiful red contrast against the oak. And the best part, they're going to cover that earlier gap perfectly. High-end look or clever cover-up? Let's say it's both. To make the inlay look seamless, I'm running it over the edge and down the sides of the tabletop. That continuous flow just looks better. For a straight vertical cut, I MacGyvered the guide using double-sided tape and a scrap of pine. My wife thinks I plan these things. I mostly just improvise and hope it works. I softened the look by rounding off the outer corners, so nobody bumps into a sharp edge. A quick cut with the jigsaw, then a pass with the orbital sander to make it nice and smooth. Gluing the inlays in place is pretty straightforward. I cut a 45-degree miter where the vertical and horizontal pieces meet to keep that continuous wraparound look nice and clean. I left the vertical inlays a little long for some wiggle room. Now I'm just using a flush trim saw to cut off the excess underneath for a nice clean edge. To blend the inlays flush with the oak, I hand sanded them using a 20 grit sanding block. I avoided the orbital sander here because it's too easy to remove too much material on these thin, delicate mitered corners and lose that crisp look. Finally, I added a subtle 45-degree chamfer around the outer edges with the router. It softens the look and makes the table a little less like a knife. I skipped the back edge since it sits flush with the wall. For finishing oak, this is my go-to method. First, a coat of boiled linseed oil to really pop the grain and bring out those rich tones. Then, after 24 hours, I seal it with a poly-based top coat for protection and durability. To attach a tabletop to the base, I use figure-8 fasteners so the oak can expand and contract naturally with the seasons. Then I secure the whole thing to the wall with simple adjustable angle brackets. I hope you enjoyed the build and maybe even picked up a trick or two for your own projects. If you liked it, give it a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.